Hey everyone, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com. Welcome to NoDQ's review video for NXT Takeover WarGames 2017. I am being joined by, as usual, the greatest columnist in the history of the NoDQ galaxy, Mr. Virtue's Rage. And we're also being joined for the first time in a while on an actual panel video, whether it's a review video or a predictions video. We have Greg Cherry with us, former wrestling trivia champion. So I know you guys have a lot to say about this pay-per-view, as do I. But to sum it up, I thought, as usual, NXT delivered. Virtue, overall, your thoughts on the show?
I enjoyed it. I won't reveal my grade until the end. There's always one guy in particular that really captivates me, and I will share that later. But like NXT has for the pretty much last few years, Aaron, you're right, it delivered.
I like that
Greg?
shirt, by the way, Army of Darkness. Greg, your thoughts?
See, I agree. And there was one match in particular that I enjoyed, maybe even a little bit more than the main event. I mean, the main event was great, and we'll get to that, but there was one match in particular that stood out to me.
Well, I think I know which match you're talking about, but we'll go ahead and recap these matches. So we did have the match that happened before the show, which was Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano for the UK title. Now, I'm not going to give away the result since it's technically a spoiler. It's set to air on NXT this coming week. From what I've heard, it was an excellent match. They tore the house down. Even though it wasn't a full crowd, I guess people were still filing in. And also, by the way, this show was not sold out. The entire upper deck was empty, and part of the lower deck was empty too. And you could see it a couple of times when they were showing some of the former NXT people, some of the alumni. You could see a bunch of empty seats in the background, which is very un-WWE-like, you know, from a production standpoint. They usually do a good job of not showing the empty seats on television. So I thought that was a little interesting, that this show did not sell out despite having the WarGames match as a drawing point. But anyways, yeah, I heard the UK title match was great, and you guys should definitely check it out on NXT this week. Now, the first match of the pay-per-view was Cassius Ohno versus Lars Sullivan. Pretty much exactly what I expected. Your basic match. It was designed to build up Sullivan as a monster. Ohno hit all of his elbow strikes, and Sullivan just kept coming. He was a machine. And I thought Sullivan looked good in this match, and it was pretty much, like I said, what I expected. Greg, I'll start with you. Your thoughts on the match and Lars Sullivan's big push?
You know, Lars Sullivan is being built up almost in the same way as Brock Lesnar was initially, as this beast who you can give some shots to, but also somebody who's, how the heck do you beat him or knock him down or any of that? And Cassius Ohno, I'm not sure what they're doing with him to put him in this kind of match, maybe just to Sullivan look strong, but I mean, I was impressed by Sullivan. I haven't seen a whole lot of him because I haven't got the chance to watch NXT a whole lot, but he is impressive. Virtue?
Well, that match was actually somewhat stiff, and if it wasn't, they did a heck of a job selling some of those forearms and shots. Lars Sullivan is a monster, and if he's presented right through NXT, give him a good following of fans, this could be a Braun Strowman type of guy. Now, I like how you pointed out, you know, you were thinking Brock Lesnar, but with Brock not here all the time, as a match, it was a good little opener. I actually thought they weren't going to start with that match. I thought it would be like a filler between the two big matches, but they kicked off the show with it, and it was pretty solid. And Sullivan is a beast. I did expect him to win, and poor Ohno. That's all I can say. Yeah, poor Cassius Ohno.
Yeah, I mean, I said this when we did the predictions video. I mean, it feels like he's just there, like he's not really doing
like
much
he's
of
Ty
anything.
Dillinger now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and you would think that they would be doing more with him, considering how well received he was on the Indies and how well liked he's been over the years. You would think that he would be in a better position, but right now he's basically just the fall guy for the rising stars. You know, he's as they say, you know, enhancement talent to the stars. So that's a little bit unfortunate for him, but you know, good showing for Lars Sullivan. Next up, we had Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream. So Dream came out. He had Rick Rude style tights with a picture of him and Aleister Black airbrushed onto his tights, just like Rude did back in the day. He was acting like Goldust a little bit. He was gyrating his hips. He also had a little bit of a Lenny Kravitz deal going on, if you guys know who he is. Singer, dresses all fancy schmancy.
I said he was Dennis Rodman and Wesley Snipes combined. That's what I said. But that was just for that was my warped mind.
Jen actually mentioned Dennis Rodman too, so that's pretty funny. He's not the same.
Maybe he's got a little bit of all those guys put together, but regardless of what it is, it's working because the crowd was really into this gimmick a lot. They were chanting Velveteen. The two were playing mind games with each other. I was really happy with this match. I thought it turned into a great match, and I'm not sure, Greg, if this was the match you were referring to earlier, but yeah, I think that this match right next to the main event was what really stole the show here. But Virtue, let's get your thoughts first on this match.
This was the match of the night up until the main event, in my opinion. I did like the Rick Rude tribute, and he even does it up on the top rope where he kind of moves his hips. The fact that Jeff Meacham, props to you, because I believe he said this match would go, the distance, and Velveteen Dream would actually be credible afterwards, and it would prompt Aleister Black to say his name, but yet Black still went over, and Jeff Meacham called it exactly right. So props to you. I know, Greg, I'm having a feeling this is the match you're talking about, so have at it.
You guys are both right. This is the match I'm talking about, and this was excellent from not even a technical standpoint, but like a striking standpoint. They were beating the crap out of each other. The psychology was fantastic. And, even the airbrush tights, the hip shake, and the Rude Awakening also, I felt this was like a giant Rick Rude tribute, which was fantastic. And the Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark, he's been absolutely fantastic. And this match is coming out party, a perfect phrase for Velveteen Dream in this match. And Aleister Black is fantastic. I'd like to see a Black Sullivan match in the future.
Now, let me ask you this, Greg. Do you think they should have had Black say Velveteen Dream's name, or do you think they should have maybe teased it and then he didn't? So maybe draw attention to the next NXT episode. I was kind of torn. People on Twitter didn't think he should have.
If he didn't do it, I think that would have been a heel thing to do. And I think they still want to push Black as this anti-hero babyface type thing. So they wanted him to say it as like, okay, I respect you because you gave me a fight. So I think that's what they went for.
I liked it. I liked it because I think, like other NXT matches, it elevated both guys. When it was over, both guys got elevated because of the match. And that's ultimately what these matches should do. When it's over, both guys, even the loser, comes out stronger than before the match started. So I was a fan of it. Really good stuff here. Next up, we had the Fatal 4-Way match for the vacant NXT Women's title. Peyton Royce versus Nikki Cross versus Kairi Sane versus Ember Moon. So I believe Jeff won the predictions because we all agreed on every match except for this one. We each picked somebody different when we did our predictions. And Jeff predicted Ember Moon to win, which wasn't, I think she would have been my second pick, but you guys pretty much persuaded me to pick Peyton Royce just for something different. Ember Moon won, and a really cool moment after the match. Now, I did think the match was a bit short, but I'll get your guys' thoughts. I felt like it was good, but it felt like a really short match for something that's supposed to be really significant. I felt it should have been longer, in my opinion. I like the fact that Asuka presented Moon with the title afterwards, and they embraced it. I thought that was a really cool passing of the torch. So, Greg, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on the match?
I thought the match was good, but to me, it was a little bit choppy. It seemed like something was a little off between the four of them. Nikki Cross is insane with the bump she takes, that power bomb on the outside. It's ridiculous, like the stuff that she does. The spot at the end was cool. The eclipse on both Peyton Royce and Nikki Cross was fantastic and well done. But I've become a big Peyton Royce and Billie Kay fan, like through this entire process and as they're growing in NXT. And I hope they get a call up soon, whether it's in a potential, and I'm just saying potential because I have no idea if they're going to do it, Women's Royal Rumble in January, which I'd love if they did on the main roster. And I've been saying that for years. But I thought it was good, but it could have been better. Virtue.
So this is a shout out to you, Big Vito, and your wife Noelle. Neither you or Macho Man have the greatest elbow. It's Kairi Sane. Now, granted, Macho Man's is all-time classic, but her elbow is phenomenal. Like, wow. Like, maybe, I don't know. It's like I didn't watch her too much other than the Mae Young Classic. So I thought she was excellent in this match. Actually, Greg, you pointed out Nikki Cross got powerbombed on the outside. That seemed hard. I love that eclipse at the end, but I do have an issue. Ember Moon winning, it's like, I know that was maybe their original plan, and just her winning, I thought there should have been something different. Maybe her time was delayed a lot longer. Maybe I picked Nikki Cross. I would have wanted any of the other three other than Ember Moon to win it, just because I felt that was too predictable. That's why I didn't say it. I did not like that, and the fact Asuka came out and presented her the belt, it's like, let's throw away their feud. I'm just not a fan of that stuff. Like, keep that behind the curtain, but they do that a lot in NXT. So, Aaron, I disagree with you. I did not like Asuka doing that.
The thing is, Asuka's a babyface now, so does it really matter?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It still matters. It just they threw all that NXT feud away with Ember Moon. Hi, we're friends now. Maybe one day at a Hall of Fame ceremony, that stuff's cool, but it's fresh off of this year's feud they had. I don't know. That's just my opinion, though.
I'm gonna have to disagree, Virtue, because when Asuka relinquished the championship, they had the moment in the middle of the ring where Ember Moon was kind of like messing with her, and then they embraced because of the feud. So
I'm calling.
They've done it before. They've done it before, so I didn't see a problem with it.
I'm calling bogus on that collarbone injury too, because she came back awfully close to that. I think that's just the way to get her on NXT. I don't know. I just was not. You know what it is? I don't like how Asuka's been booked on the main roster, and I think this is all me kind of stewing over that so far. So,
well, we'll see how she does tomorrow.
Congrats to Ember Moon.
All right. Well, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I think Greg made a good point about that segment. Maybe they shouldn't have done that segment, but they did. And I felt like if Asuka was a really strong heel, then it would have been a bad idea to do this. But the fact that she's a face, I think I would overlook it. I don't think it's as big of a deal as you're making it out to be, Virtue. But it is your opinion, and you are more than entitled to it. You are, after all, the greatest columnist in the history of the No DQ Galaxy.
Comments, people. What do you think?
At least you're not wearing the crown, so you won't get too much hate mail.
Bruce Campbell, baby.
Well, you got the Army of Darkness shirt, so that should be a guaranteed like right there for this.
I'll probably get more heat for this, so.
Okay, what's sports? So I have no idea what it is, and Greg, you know me with sports. You gave me that question after all on trivia a few weeks ago.
Yeah, it was just the one though, just the one.
New York Giants, not the Atlanta Braves.
And you know, we can't always agree because that's boring. So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so we actually have a little bit of breaking news here, and it pertains to this next match, the NXT Championship match, which was Drew McIntyre defending against Andrade Cien Almas. So Zelina Vega was out there, who is, I believe, the real-life girlfriend of Austin Aries. She also was AJ Lee when they shot the scene for the upcoming Paige movie. So she's been active this past year, and she's now the manager of Almas, and she got involved in this match on several occasions. Now, the thing about McIntyre is the crowd wasn't really into him all that much. I felt like he got a very lackluster reaction when he came out. And the crowd was actually doing 3MB chants at him. I'm not sure if you guys caught that or not, but they were chanting 3MB at him. And, I mean, I was surprised because we had a title change here. We have a new NXT champion, Andrade Cien Almas. That surprised me. I was not expecting that because I felt like he was kind of like a mid-card performer in NXT and not a guy that was going to be the guy in NXT. So I was a little surprised. Now, maybe McIntyre is being called up. I don't know. But apparently he got hurt. I know, Virtue, we were talking about this on Facebook.
It was hard for me to tell. You know, I watched the replay, and it didn't look like that arm got bent too bad. But what's the scoop?
So Triple H did the Facebook Live thing right after the show. He said Drew McIntyre might have a torn bicep.
Ooh.
Interesting.
So that is a little bit of breaking news here. It looked like, I couldn't tell the first time I watched it, but watching it back, it looked like he might have gotten hurt, and the doctor was in the ring, and McIntyre, I mean, it seemed like too good to be acting. Like, he seemed like legitimately hurt. Like, he wasn't selling like the fact that he got beat. He looked like he was hurt. and he was talking to the doctor about what was going on. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen now with McIntyre, but of course the big story here is the title change. Virtue, let's start with you. Do you think it was the right time for a title change? What do you think about Almas being the NXT champion?
It depends on when the injury happened. Did it happen before the finish and maybe they called the audible? I don't know. But, like, to me, it's crazy because just, several months ago, Almas was losing every pay-per-view, every event. So all of a sudden now he's the Jinder Mahal, yes, I'm going to say it, of NXT. And the fact that they were in Houston, in Texas, the demographic, maybe I'm not surprised. Now, the match was solid. I actually enjoy Drew Galloway more this time around, McIntyre, than his first run. I think he's evolved, and he's learned, no pun intended, get it? Because he used to wrestle for Evolve. But I think he's definitely grown as a performer. I think maybe the NXT crowd isn't a good fit for him. He's a main roster guy. He looks like that top star quality. I think he would be better served on SmackDown. I think there's a little disconnect with that NXT crowd with Drew. But it was a solid match. And if he was working hurt all the way up until the end, like if it happened in the middle of the match, who knows? Props to Drew for going through with it. Now I want to know. I want to know if this is a work now. Greg, what do you think?
I don't think it is. I'm not sure where he would have got hurt. That DDT at the end looked kind of brutal. But I was surprised as well. I didn't think Andrade Cien Almas would win this match. But in the last several months, he has improved greatly from when he first debuted. Because when he first debuted, he was like, okay, I don't know what to think about this guy. He had decent but not like fantastic matches. And then his match with Gargano at TakeOver Brooklyn, freaking phenomenal. And Zelina Vega is a wonderful addition to his character. And she's a fantastic manager on the outside. So, great for Almas. And it'll be very interesting to see who's going to be the next challenger if McIntyre is indeed hurt.
That's true. I was going to ask you guys, what do you think on that?
Yeah, that throws me off a little bit. I mean, what do you think, Greg?
It's kind of wide open. They might do something like a battle royal or something. I was expecting Adam Cole to challenge Drew McIntyre for the title after this. But with McIntyre losing the title, who do you give the shot to? Do you give Roderick Strong another shot? Do you give Gargano a shot? I mean, where do you go from here?
Maybe Chris Hero gets his way back into the main event somehow. Maybe he'll win a battle royal and be back in the title picture.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities. But yeah,
Aleister Black.
Is it too soon? Is it too soon, though?
Is it, though, in NXT? I mean, Almost has it already. I mean, I know he's been around, but...
And Black's undefeated, so it's very possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of it will depend on what's going on with McIntyre. If he's not that seriously hurt, then I could see them doing a rematch at the next pay-per-view for the Royal Rumble. If he is hurt, then they'll need to come up with somebody else, and maybe it's Strong, maybe it's Ohno, maybe it's somebody else out of nowhere they'll bring in. Who knows? But yeah, the crowd did the C chant, so like Virtue said, a lot of Hispanics there in Houston, and they were into him. So, which
is cool. I mean, I get that sometimes where you are, you got to play, to the area you're in, and you want to get the best reaction that people engage in the match with your live audience so it comes across good on TV. I mean, I get it. That's the name of the game.
Yeah. I thought it was fine for what it was. I was a little bit surprised, though. Did not see that coming. Although I think we did mention maybe they would pull like a...
Didn't Jeff say something about he could think Almost could win? Or remember we were having that debate on the preview video, but he still went with McIntyre?
We were pretty much like, well, if Jinder Mahal can win the WWE title, we're not going to rule out Almost winning the NXT title. So it is what it is. It was entertaining nonetheless. And now we have the main event, the WarGames match. Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong versus Sanity versus Undisputed Era. No heel turn in this match, so it was straightforward, no major swerve or anything, which is fine. I mean, the match was awesome, great match, lots of carnage. It was interesting because in the past WCW WarGames matches, they would be pretty lengthy, and then once it was the match beyond with everybody in the ring together, that was usually close to the end of the match. It would be like 20 minutes, and then once it was the match beyond, it would go like 5 or 10 minutes. It would be the climax, and that would be it. But here it was kind of different. It was, it was Eric Young, Adam Cole, and Roderick Strong starting the match. Fish and O'Reilly were the first team to come out. There were 3 shark cages, so after 5 minutes, Fish and O'Reilly came out. Then Authors of Pain came out. Then Wolf and Dane came out. And then it was the match beyond. And the first part of the match was 10 minutes. And then once all three teams were in there, it was really lengthy. I think it went 25 minutes or so. I'm not sure exactly the time, but it was very lengthy. So that was really the biggest difference. That and, of course, the fact that there was no roof on this cage. And also, I'm sure you guys noticed the middle part between the two rings. There was a steel barrier there, whatever, between the two rings, which they did not have in WCW. So that was one difference. Yeah, I thought it was a great match. You had a lot of weapons involved. They brought in the tables. They brought in chairs. O'Reilly swung a chair and hit himself because it hit the ropes. So he actually...
Aaron's getting a little choppy. Is that me? Craig, is that just me, or did Aaron get a little choppy there?
Did I get choppy?
He did.
Well,
yeah,
hopefully I'm fine on my end. This is Skype, so it's not perfect. But if I get that little survey saying, how was your call, I'm going to put in the middle. But anyways, yeah, I thought the match was awesome. Virtue, you want to go ahead and give your thoughts? Or actually, Greg, you go first this time. Your thoughts on the match and the highlights in your opinion.
Well, I hope Jeff was happy with the match because he was complaining about it a lot, thinking it was going to be like the 98 or 2000 WarGames. It's okay, I don't think it'll be that bad. Give these guys some credit. I thought the match was solid. I like the fact that they went a long time because they weren't sending one person down. They were sending the rest of the team down at one point. So that's probably why it went longer than a normal WarGames match. I thought it was brutal. The superplex off the top of the cage was insane. I'm glad they involved weapons. I mean, you saw Alexander Wolf with the blood on his head. I think he went through the table and cut himself or whatever. But it was a great WarGames match. You didn't need the top of the cage. You didn't need to finish it by submission. So it's not WCW or NWA WarGames. It was WWE WarGames. I thought for their first outing, I thought it went very well. Virtue?
So a couple highlights of it that I enjoyed. Killian Dane bringing in all the weapons. I like how he was the guy that got designated to do that, and he knew where everything was, and he got it in there promptly. Also, who bounced around that ring more than anybody else? In your opinion, I'm going to tell you who I believe it is. Greg, Aaron?
I was going to say perhaps Roddy Strong or Adam Cole.
Eric Young. Eric Young is a master of his craft, and I'll tell you what, with all the carnage that was happening, we know why they left the roof off now, because of the suplex spot. But with the going through the tables, all the weapons, this and that, what I remembered the most from the match is the selling that Eric Young did. He'd flip an extra flip. He'd get slammed down, and he'd have his legs back over his head. That's just phenomenal. Some people might call that overselling. Kudos to you, Eric Young. And I'm going to tell you this. The only thing I would have liked, the ending, he should have stood up holding the chair and went to swing at it to Adam Cole, and Adam Cole hit him with Sweet Chin Music. That, to me, would have been a better ending. But nonetheless, Undisputed Era went over, which I believe they should have, and you want to keep building them. So, I mean, heck, to me, it was the match of the night. Up until I still enjoyed the Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream match, but I love carnage. Everybody knows I'm a sports entertainment guy, and this match gave me all of that. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you, Virtue. I mean, I thought the big guys really stood out in this match. Dane stood out. He did the coast to coast to O'Reilly. You had that
was a good spot. That's right.
You had Authors of Pain throwing all those guys around. You had tons of carnage in that match, and the big guys really shined in this match. Definitely, I think everybody did. You mentioned Eric Young. Everybody in this match got a chance to shine, which was really cool. The only thing I think I would have changed, I think that even though Undisputed Era won and we were predicting that, really that superplex off the top, that should have been the end of the match because anything after that wasn't going to be able to follow that. That's what everyone's going to remember. So I think that should have been the end. Maybe it should have been the opposite. Maybe Adam Cole should have been doing the superplex. I don't know. But to me, that felt like the end, and I don't think somebody should have kicked out of that. Just my opinion, though, because the impact of that was so great. I don't know. I guess it makes sense for the babyface to kick out of that before losing. Actually, no, it was Cole kicking out from the superplex. So yeah, I wasn't really a fan of it continuing after that. But that's just my opinion. Still thought it was great. But yeah, awesome show. I mean, definitely delivered as usual. And anything else, Greg, you would like to add about the show and your grade for the show?
Not a whole lot I'd like to add. I'd just like to see where they're going to go next. I think the next couple months building up to NXT Takeover Philadelphia are going to be very interesting, especially with Undisputed Era winning, McIntyre possibly getting hurt, who's going to be Ember Moon's first challenger. Lots of stuff going on. I'll give this show a solid B+. I would give it an A-. But I don't know what it was about the women's match, but it just didn't do it for me. All the rest of the matches were great, and I don't want to take anything away from the women's match because it was good. It just wasn't up to my expectations, I guess. Virtue?
You know, Greg, you're absolutely right. It's so easy for us to sit here because we do love NXT Takeover events because they're shorter. We don't have to, go through the grueling 4.5 hours, however long Survivor Series is going to be. But we get everything done in a nice short period of time. It's easy to say we can always give an A to these events. It was a great show, but again, there was just some quirks in it. Greg, B+. I'm gonna do one better, B++. I can't give it an A-, but I want to grade it higher than you because I think I liked it a little more than you did based on your response. So I'm gonna go with B++, like my old teacher used to do.
That's a cop out.
Aaron?
Well, I agree with Greg and Virtue. If you should stick to the system and not make it too funky or whatever, I just say B+. I don't think I'd give it an A because there are a few changes I would make to the show. I think I would have made the WarGames match a little bit shorter. I think it was a little bit too long. Maybe they did a little bit too much in that match, and I would have given a little bit more time to the women's match. Maybe added 5 or 10 minutes. So I would have made a few tweaks, but overall, it was a great show. So I would say B+. I wanted to add I really liked Velveteen Dream's DDT. I don't think we mentioned that either. That was really cool looking. So
yeah, I mean the show was just a Gargano and Pete Dunne away from an A. I mean, that's simple.
That would have helped, and a few other little tweaks and it
maybe a swerve somewhere at the end, Yeah, Donovan Dijak debuting or something like that.
Yeah, very, very close. Yeah, maybe like a surprise debut or just few little things they could have done to make it an A show, but it was close. B+, definitely a B+. So on that note, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Greg, your plugs.
Just follow me on Twitter at PA Sensation. Also, my wife is selling essential oils, so tweet me at PA Sensation. I'll give you the details. They're really good. They really help me a lot. And also, hopefully. Should Wrestling Trivia Challenge continue after season 2? Because I don't know what's going on with it. Hopefully I'll be back with that. And I don't know. I want to do more stuff with the site, so we'll see what happens.
Virtue?
Follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue. And also go to NoDQ.com. Look for Virtue's Rage. Sunday before Survivor Series, the Clueless Wrestling columnist is back. That's not me. That's somebody else. And they're going to talk about why star match ratings are overrated. And also go to ProWrestlingTees.com because, Aaron, why?
Because we have 15 t-shirt designs on there, including a Virtue's Rage t-shirt where he turns No DQ upside down. We have the PA Sensation t-shirt with the license plate. We have Wrestling Trivia Challenge. We have Jexy Rocks. We have Interstate Kyle. We have 2 Jeff Meacham shirts.
Greg
Talk
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
A great shirt on there as well. So doesn't Jexy, Interstate Kyle, the whole crew. Jeff Meacham, David Payne.
Yes, Power of Pain. Even David has his own shirt.
ProWrestlingTees.com, search No DQ.
Exactly. So you check out all that. And we got the Black Friday sale coming up this week, starting Wednesday on my birthday, November 22nd.
See, Aaron, you're just freezing for us. This is like
Okay, I totally...
Yeah, it's a little choppy on our end, but maybe it's good on yours, and people are going to think we're crazy.
All right, well, now you guys are getting choppy on my end, but I don't know what's going on here. We're getting... okay.
Again. You might have to...
Okay, well, it's getting glitchy, so we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. ProWrestlingTees.com, Black Friday sale on my birthday, November 22nd. Use the code Black Friday to get 20% off your entire order. Pick up some t-shirts, and that'll do it for us. Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Virtue, for being on. That'll wrap it up for this video. We will see you guys next time.